you can't be at the top forever. And we really have to be, aware of this, that we are humans. We do need to go to a pit stop and get refreshed with gas. Take some time for self-care. Here in the USA, 1 week is considered a vacation. I'm like, listen, honey, I'm not even relaxed after a week. Like, hello. Should be a minimum of 2 weeks. We don't know how to relax. We've become a society of feeling like we constantly have to go and produce. But we don't realize that there is eventually a cost to everything. We're either sacrificing our health for immediate gain. So it's like checks and balances. Like, what are you willing to trade? Your health, your mindset, like what? Because I've had my own marketing and branding agency, and I hit the wall of breakdown and burnout big time, where I literally blew the head gasket, everything, the wheels fell off the bus. And I'd realized I had ignored the signs and I was in denial for so long. So I've really taken this concept of what it means to rewire your brain and to really start to retrain yourself, because it doesn't matter what age you are, you're never too late or too old or too young or too inexperienced to be able to start again. So that's the good news, is our brain has the ability to change. And these concepts that you teach through Joyly is a very huge part in the awareness, because without awareness, we just walk around with blind spots, right? And become blind to them. So I'm excited about that. And the training I offer is really about mindset, rewiring the mind, and, getting people to be their full productive potential selves. Every company in the world is run by people, not machines. It's the last time I checked, we still have brains behind the machines. And in order for us to be, really effective with our companies, and I see this all the time. My husband is in the tech business and he's got a software company. And one of his biggest headaches is always the employee retention. Keeping good employees is hard. Also finding good employees is hard enough, but then keeping them engaged, because unfortunately the society we're in such a consumption society where we've got to just do things and we can move on to the next thing. And even in somebody who's been employed in a job, if they're not actually engaged in what they're doing, they just become like a cog in the machine. And my husband and I talk about this all the time. It's like we want to help people to learn to think and to be present. Because when you're actually engaged mentally, emotionally, physically, you're not just a cog in the machine where you're just going down the manufacturing line. Oh, I just do this because it's my job. Oh, I'm not going to do any more because it's not within my job description. When we can tap into the intrinsic motivation of each person, and of course, everyone's a little different, but really what it comes down to is everybody, whatever you do with life, is that you want to feel validated, you want to feel like what you do matters, and you want to feel like you are seen and heard. So those are really keys that if we feel like, back in the 60s where it was, really male-dominated environment, women didn't really have the chance to be in working environment. Now we fast forward all these years, society has changed, but we still haven't quite kind of grasped the whole concept of having the right people on the bus, first of all, because that's a huge another conversation. If we have the wrong people on the bus, that's just going to slow us down. But finding and attracting the right employees because of whether we call it culture or mindset of a company. And it always starts at the top. We can have lots of employees and turnover is high, but it starts at the top. It really starts with developing leaders who are able to listen, who are able to engage and hear what the other person is saying. So instead of us thinking of our business as like a manufacturing line, it's engaging in the best potential in each person. And this is why I love personality tests, because sometimes, somebody might think that they want to be a person, say a salesperson, but they're not a good fit, and they soon find out. And that's when we have high turnovers, when we're putting the wrong people in the wrong places. And how we help them tap into that is helping them find their personal joy. I've met many people that I went to school with who just took a job or got into a career because it seemed like a good idea, or mom thought it was a good idea, or because it was more money. But fast forward a few years and you realize they're miserable because we spend so much time working that if we aren't tapping into our actual potential and what I believe God designed us for, we can never really unlock where we can go, because we haven't reached the edges of our abilities. I think there's so much untapped talent in today's workforce. It's just a matter of how do we draw it out of them. So that's really what I'm excited about. And neuroscience is great. And this whole process again is let's figure it out and let's get to dig for the golden nuggets and find what it is that makes you really good at what you do and help you tap into that. I think that we still have a lot of work to do in convincing people why joy is important, because we kind of associate it with let's go watch a funny movie. That's cool. That's nice for you, but I'm a grown up now. And we don't realize Joy is an intrinsical part of a motivation. It's better, and I always like to describe this as the difference between joy and happiness. Really hard to figure out how you find your own happiness when it's so reliant on other people. But the difference between happiness and joy is a choice. Like you say, take the time to sit in that chair. If you don't make that decision to sit down and engage yourself in the process, you're just going to be going round and round in circles, and you're going to forever be, searching for this elusive mirage. And really, joy happens now. I can be joyful right now with no matter what the weather is. I can be joyful with a lot of money, with no money, with by myself, in a group of people. And it just depends on how you look at things. And I think it's really about holding a mirror up and helping people see their awareness in themselves and saying, you know what, if I'm not happy, how do I change it? How can I adjust my viewpoint in order to look for the joy? And it's amazing. It's like there's the concept of, what you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on the positive, then confirmation bias is going to set in, and you're going to start to see more of that good thing. So again, it's just, really trying to make people aware of that it is a choice. You have complete agency and autonomy in the choices you make. And as soon as we stop being victims and saying, you know what, I'm not letting the environment I'm in dictate how I feel, I'm going to start taking ownership of it. I think that's when we're realizing that you tap into that moment of joy, and then it just bubbles out. You can't but help be excited when you just know you're calm and you're peaceful. Gratitude's important. And I think if we are focusing on the negative world and all the negative things, you're just going to hear more of it. And it's like just wearing a really ugly, wet blanket. It's just like, ew. Who wants to be at that pity party? Not me. So, I think it's just a choice. It's like, do you want to hang out with someone who's negative and who complains all the time? You're going to be making a beeline for somebody else, because positivity attracts. And I'm not saying be a Pollyanna if everyone remembers who she was, pigtails and all. Every day is wonderful. No, that's not reality, but we get to choose how we respond to it. And it's so important. It really comes back to taking 100% responsibility for 100% of the results. And no matter whether you are in leadership, or you're working for a company, or you're a parent with kids, we have to realize that we can't blame bad behaviors on other people. We first have to be willing to look at ourselves and saying, what behavior am I mirroring? Because at the end of the world, it's monkey see, monkey do. And the neuroscience shows that we mirror each other. We copy behavior. Like, why do things go viral? Why do things get influential? Why is this restaurant more popular? It's because people just, without thinking about it, are copying. It's that tribal mentality. So if you don't like the tribe you're in, how about you find another one? Like, we're not living in the African plains where you would have a lion chasing you. So you don't have that concern, but you get to choose like what party or what tribe you get to go and hang out with. This has been 2 years in the making. So this is called Unstick Your Mind, Shift Your Mindset, Develop Grit, and Break Barriers. And I did a ton of research. I interviewed professors at universities, neuroscience, did a lot of looking at how the brain works, how do we motivate, how do we tap into people's potential. Definitely, if you want more information, come and look me up online. mimikacooney.com is my website. This book will be available on Amazon and other platforms, and it's coming out in about 2 weeks, so I'm excited.